So, to start at the beginning, as they say, the first thing on the agenda. When the team and I were planning the summit, we were looking at the job titles for the people that were registering and attending, and a lot of them were designers or managed designers or were responsible in some form for the visual output of the marketing output of the company. So we wanted to put a session in for the design, and not just pretty pictures, but somewhere where we start to understand the link between design to commercial success. It's also something which is close to my heart. I'm trained as a designer. I've run my own design agency, I've run marketing teams. I've worked with a number of the e-commerce partners which are in the room at the back, although it's difficult to see because the light is shining right in my eyes. And a few years ago, I also ran the dotmailer rebrand project, which is still with us now, and the summit is just an extension of that. It also means I'm normally wearing trainers, so wearing shoes today makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. So this is what we're looking at today. We, as marketers like you in the room, it's funnels. We've all got our own funnel in the business, I'm sure. We've all got our own attribution model which we use to justify our marketing. Design, of course, doesn't get things as handily as likes, retweets. We know in email we get opens, clicks, replies, etc. It's very good for the metrics, but design doesn't get that necessarily. We also know that can make an investment in design difficult to justify. I mean, if, let's say, for example, we're looking to try and boost our sales, we might be able to say, let's arrange a C-suite roundtable. We can justify it because we're going to get 10 sales-ready leads, and then we're going to be able to sell. It's all quite programmatic. You can get from one end to the other. But when was the last time a sales guy came over to the marketing team and said, do you know what? I think the leading on page 8 isn't quite right. And the kerning also needs looking at. It doesn't happen like that. So because you can't get this attribution, it's easy to think that design isn't valuable. But for me, I think it's more valuable than ever. I just want to look into 2 ways why I believe that. First of all, I think design can be seen to deliver some measurable results, and surprisingly instantly. And then next, design can deliver long-term business benefit. So if you excuse the navel-gazing slightly, I'm going to show you some dotmailer email marketing. Now, I'd like to think most of you in here probably got this. This is a newsletter from November that we did, and it was performing quite well. We, like you, have been on a journey to always improve our marketing. It's a continual journey. Every time we make an improvement, we make some more. We try and use more data, be more relevant. It's not easy, but we keep on trying, and I think we are making some improvements. We looked at this newsletter in November, and we thought, well, let's see if we can improve this. So we got together as a team, we brainstormed, we chucked ideas, we looked at some competitors, we looked at some firms that we aspire to in the marketing sense, and then we thought, right, let's see what we can do. So we came up with this. That's not that, that's just an animation. We came up with this, which is February's newsletter. Now, you can see the type's bigger, there's images, there's iconography, we made it bite-size. We also tested it, and we could see it's getting a better response, it's getting more engagement, so we were happy. So we went live with it, and in February, you should have got this. Now, what you can see is we obviously are nice with the summit, which is great, but when we compare the stats, side by side, we can see that the design alone of redesigning the newsletter got a huge lift. 206% more content downloads than the November newsletter. We didn't change the segment, we didn't change the data, all we did was change the design. The topic was the same, marketing newsletter. And that's huge for us. Now, you're probably going to see some better stats than that today, so I'm not trying to say we are the bomb, we have got it, but I'm trying to say that design alone here on a like-for-like test increased the engagement. Now, what I'm not also saying is that design has a good ROI, because as dotmailer, we live in a multi-channel, multi-user, multi-buyer habit. So if one person clicked on the February newsletter and bought, they might not have bought because of the newsletter alone. It might have been a partner. They might have looked at something on Hotmail address. So we can see there's some improvements, but we look at this as an engagement increase, not an ROI increase. It's why what we've tried to do in the last 18 months is just be better at what we do. And design has been a key part in that. The other interesting thing would be, does anybody spot this? The little feedback icons at the bottom of the emails? Well, it ties in some of the things that Rory and Shah were saying earlier, that we were getting positive feedback from our old emails. So we did this not because of direct feedback, but because of our desire to be better. So in this instance, it wasn't listening to the customers, which we want to try to do, of course, but it was led by our desire to be better. And by doing that, we got this uplifting in engagements. So now if we look at design for the long-term business benefit, and of course, I believe that is a crucial thing, because good design can enable this. Smarter, faster, better comms. I mean, we all want some of that, don't we? I mean, who wants the opposite? And this is because modern life's busy. Right, all you need to do is think it's one screen, it's two screens, it's three screens, it's Slack, it's Skype. Sometimes we even talk to each other, but that, of course, we know is a dying art. And the end result is time is the most precious commodity we have now. We see these trends everywhere. Test match cricket, something close to my heart. Unfortunately, not many other people's hearts. If you look at the empty stands, nobody goes anymore. It takes 5 days to get a result, and it's been a sport in decline. But when they understood, when they changed things to 2020, noise, colour, fireworks at cricket, well, that's just not cricket. But what it was, is it got bums on seats. It made money. And so they made the sport faster, and they also breathed new life into it to be commercially successful. It's everywhere. If you think dating, and it's been a long time since I've been dating, so again, I'm just living vicariously for my team who go on these dates. You know, I'm looking at you again, healthy food. You know, it was long romantic walks on the beach, and then it was Match.com, and now it's Tinder. It's got faster. It's got less commitment. You swipe left and you swipe right, and that's it done. I don't know which one's good or bad, to be honest, but I know you sort of do this. And it's not just these things. Here's another example in news. You know, broadsheets have gone to tabloids, gone to sound bites, have gone to 140-character tweets. I mean, it's all getting shorter. Jakob Nielsen, who I'm sure most of you in the room will know, the UX guru with the incredibly bad hairdo, he said in 2008 that only 20% of page content will be read. It was true then, and it's even truer now. So that's the challenge we have, and what does that mean for design? Well, if you look at the dictionary definition of design, at least when used in advertising, it's putting your business proposition and interpreting it to have appeal to the customer. And that means that design's always had customer at the heart. And I know that design in its many forms has been web design, UI or UX. And I think now we're going to get to the stage where it's CX design. It's customer experience design. And this is how we can get to the long-term business benefits. And it's not just me that's saying this. This is a slide from Forrester that say the same thing. So in October, they released a report which was design-led businesses achieve tangible business success. So they went out and they surveyed design leaders and customer experience leaders, about 350 around the world, and then they looked at their responses, graded them by their design maturity, and then they looked at their businesses. And the ones which were design-led were outperforming the ones which weren't. If you look at these logos here, I would consider these design-led. If you think of Apple, It's impossible not to think of that nice shiny thing in your pocket, or Virgin, a cool marketing campaign. These are design-led firms, and they are getting business success. So for me, it's like this. We're visually literate now. We're time poor. If we see good design, we go good company. If we see bad design, we go bad company. This is the price of design. So if it's that important, why should we look at it now? It's more important than ever. This is a phrase been bandied around, maybe familiar with. Marketing is eating sales. And this is a reaction to the internet. The internet's empowered people. They can do the research. When you're ready, the customer now chooses to engage with the sales team. Before, they would have held the power. We would have held the power trying to sell the gear, but now it's the customers. And so 70 to 80% of the B2B buying cycle is owned by marketing. How much of that is influenced by design? I think marketing is a marriage of content and design in its purest form. So I think you've got to say it's a large proportion. So how can we do this? Well, I love this quote. I think this is it. It's not a talent, it's a way of operating. There's no monopoly on good ideas. Design isn't just a designer's job. Design thinking can come from anywhere. And to prove this quote is from an unlikely source. Now, I wouldn't have thought John Cleese would have been mentioned in the marketing summit, but I like that because if I think of Monty Python and their humour, I'm thinking of those guys are nutters and funny and eccentric and always being struck by these moments of creative genius. But here you have it. It wasn't necessarily that. He's saying it's a way of operating. They created a framework where you could express yourself, where you weren't going to be afraid to fail. And surely, if that's good enough for them, we can try and take some of those values to our businesses. So to conclude, design conforms to a different model. Difficult always to get an attribution on the long-term business benefit, but it has to be there. We've seen those companies that we thought about with Apple, and no one said, well, I don't like that firm. So it has to be there as a value. With time poor, and good design can help communicate faster and better. And the way to do that is trying to invest in this culture where you can embrace creative ideas at all levels. Design is not just a designer's job. Now, I think that you could argue that maybe this has already happened to a degree. We've had the democratization of software. Enterprise software no longer has an enterprise price, and I like to think dotmailer is part of that. But now we get to the stage where I believe design can be the key differentiator to be a better business.